There's been a lot of talk lately about what the future could look like at quarterback. And honestly, this is one of those discussions that has Steelers fans completely split. Some people think bringing in a proven veteran would be the perfect move, while others believe the team should stay patient and go in a different direction. The more details that come out, the more interesting this conversation gets, because there are some major pros and cons that nobody can ignore. Before we dive into everything, do me a favor. Smash that like button and let me know your thoughts in the comments. And for the comments section, I want to see one thing from the real Steelers fans out there. Here we go, Steelers! One of the most interesting debates surrounding the Pittsburgh Steelers right now is not about a player currently on the roster, but about a quarterback who may not even hit the open market. Baker Mayfield has suddenly become the center of conversation among Steelers fans after comments he made regarding his contract situation with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and those remarks have sparked a wave of speculation about what Pittsburgh could do at quarterback in the future. The discussion began after Mayfield openly acknowledged that contract talks with Tampa Bay are underway, but according to him, those negotiations are not close to where he expected them to be. While he made it clear that he would love to remain with the Buccaneers long-term, he also admitted that things are not currently progressing the way he hoped. At the same time, he emphasized that his focus remains on football and helping his team compete, making it clear that once training camp begins, his attention will be entirely on the season rather than contract discussions. Those comments immediately caught the attention of football fans, and Steelers supporters were no exception. Across social media, many began discussing whether Pittsburgh should pursue Mayfield if he eventually becomes available. The idea is understandable. Finding a franchise quarterback is the most important challenge in the NFL, and whenever a proven veteran becomes a potential option, teams and fan bases naturally start exploring the possibility. However, once you move beyond the excitement of the idea and begin examining the realities of the situation, the picture becomes much more complicated. The first obstacle is financial. According to the discussion surrounding Pittsburgh's future salary cap situation, the Steelers are not projected to have significant financial flexibility moving forward. Current projections suggest the team will already be operating with limited cap space, and future extensions for important young players could make that situation even tighter. That reality creates a major problem if Baker Mayfield is looking for the type of contract many expect him to seek. His own comments suggest that the numbers currently being discussed are not meeting his expectations. That naturally leads many observers to believe he is targeting a very substantial deal. If that ends up being the case, any team pursuing him would likely need to commit an enormous percentage of its payroll to the quarterback position. For Pittsburgh, that could mean difficult decisions throughout the roster. The argument presented is straightforward. In order to create enough financial room for a contract that could potentially exceed $50 million per season, the Steelers might have to part ways with multiple established veterans. It would not simply be a matter of signing Mayfield and continuing business as usual. Significant roster restructuring could become necessary. That raises a critical question. Is Baker Mayfield the type of quarterback who justifies those sacrifices? Supporters of the idea would point to the fact that Mayfield has been productive and has established himself as a legitimate NFL starter. Few would argue against that. The debate is not whether he is a good quarterback. The debate is whether he belongs in the category of quarterbacks who can elevate an entire organization regardless of surrounding circumstances. The analysis presented draws a distinction between quarterbacks who drive success and quarterbacks who benefit from strong situations around them. In that framework, Mayfield is viewed as a player who can succeed when surrounded by quality coaching and talented teammates, but perhaps not someone who single-handedly transforms a roster. That distinction becomes especially important when discussing massive contracts. When a team pays premium quarterback money, The expectation is not merely good performance. The expectation is that the quarterback becomes the engine that powers the organization forward. Every dollar committed to that player is a dollar that cannot be spent elsewhere, which means the quarterback must provide enough value to compensate for talent that may be lost around him. To support that argument, comparisons were made between Mayfield's recent performance and Aaron Rodgers' production. While public perception may favor Mayfield in many discussions, some statistical categories paint a more nuanced picture. The comparison highlighted areas where Rodgers actually performed at a higher level. Categories involving touchdown efficiency, passer rating, completion percentage over expectation, management of pressure, and avoidance of turnover-worthy plays were all cited as areas where Rodgers either matched or outperformed Mayfield. That does not mean Mayfield struggled. Far from it. In several categories, he remained highly competitive. The larger point was that the gap between the two quarterbacks may not be as significant as many assume. Particularly interesting was the discussion surrounding pressure situations. While Rodgers reportedly excelled in avoiding pressure and managing the pocket, Mayfield showed strength when plays broke down and he was forced to operate under pressure. In those situations, Mayfield performed closer to league average levels, while Rodgers struggled significantly. That ability to create outside structure remains one of Mayfield's strongest arguments in his favor. Modern NFL defenses are increasingly difficult to dissect from clean pockets alone. Quarterbacks who can improvise and generate offense when protection fails often provide tremendous value. Even so, the larger concern remains tied to cost. The question is not whether Baker Mayfield can play winning football. The question is whether his level of play justifies the kind of financial commitment that could force Pittsburgh to reshape large portions of its roster. Another factor that cannot be ignored is the direction the Steelers appear to be positioning themselves toward. The discussion suggested that Pittsburgh may ultimately prefer a more cost-effective quarterback solution. Whether that comes through a rookie contract, a young developing quarterback, a draft selection, or another veteran option carrying a smaller cap number, the organization may find greater roster flexibility through that approach. A cost-controlled quarterback allows resources to be distributed across the rest of the team. It enables clubs to maintain depth, retain key contributors, and continue building around a balanced roster. That strategy has become increasingly attractive across the league as quarterback salaries continue to rise. For that reason, the possibility of Pittsburgh pursuing Mayfield remains fascinating, but far from straightforward. On paper, adding an established veteran quarterback sounds appealing. In reality, the financial implications and roster consequences create an entirely different conversation. What makes this debate especially compelling is that both sides have legitimate arguments. One side sees a proven starter who could stabilize the position. The other sees a player who may command elite money without necessarily providing elite value relative to the cost. As contract talks continue elsewhere and speculation grows, Steelers fans are left with a difficult question that could shape the franchise's future. If Baker Mayfield ultimately becomes available and demands a contract worth more than $50 million per season, would you want the Steelers to make that move, or would you rather see the team pursue a more affordable option at quarterback? If you enjoyed today's discussion and want daily Pittsburgh Steelers news, rumors, roster updates, and exclusive analysis all year long, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Drop your opinion in the comments because I want to hear from you. Would you sign Baker Mayfield to a massive contract, or would you go in a different direction at quarterback? If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like. It really helps the channel grow. And when you're done, click on the video that's now appearing on your screen for more Steelers coverage. Thanks for watching, and remember, the latest Steelers news and rumors are waiting for you right here. Here we go, Steelers.